today, thanks to the hard work of the men of NASA, men and women of NASA, and of American industry. The Orion crew vehicle for the Artemis 1 mission is complete and ready to begin preparations for its historic first flight.
This morning in Cape Canaveral, Florida, Vice President Mike Pence announced the achievement of a critical milestone in our effort to go to the moon and beyond. He says President Trump signed into law the largest NASA budget ever, and we are on track to land American astronauts on the moon by 2024. This on the 50th anniversary of the Apollo 11 moon landing. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Alicia Nieves. Our special report of the 50th anniversary of the first moon landing is coming up. But first, the USC Board of Trustees elected Robert Caslin as the university's next president. He's the 29th president in the school's history. Trustees held a vote with 11 for Caslin, 8 against, and 1 trustee abstained. September 16th, Caslin will begin his new role. Tonight, News 19's Kayland Hagwood spoke with legislators as they reflect on the contentious debate that brought us to this moment. Kayland, what can we learn?
Yes, Alicia, Caslin's election did not come without controversy, and a day later there's still debate on how the process by which he was elected will affect the university going forward. Representative Seth Rose, who is a graduate of the university, says there was a lack of transparency with students that will need to be repaired.
At this point in time, he is the president-elect, and I will be rooting for him to succeed. The biggest issues I have is with the process. They passed on all the candidates, and all of a sudden this candidate was passed on is being voted on up, down. And it was leaked that there was going to be a vote in the first place. That's not transparent. That's not open. This should be an inclusive process. It shouldn't be under the veil of darkness. And that's what's so troubling about this. And I don't know how anybody can defend the process by which this vote came about.
Senator Katrina Shealy weighed in favor of Caslin, but hopeful that changes will come to the process in the future.
We should have never let it get to this point. So I think that's the biggest problem. Do I think changes need to be made so this doesn't happen again? Definitely. There were politics involved on both sides. When they just start saying it was Governor McMaster, that's not necessarily the case. Then everybody got involved.
We'll have more reaction to Caslin's election from both Representative Rose and Senator Shealy tonight at 11. Reporting in the studio, I'm Kayland Hagwood.
All right, Kayland, thank you very much. Monday, USC will hold a press conference featuring the new president-elect. Robert Caslin will be answering the media's questions at 11 a.m. at the University of South Carolina School of Law. Meanwhile, State Senator Dick Harpootlian followed through on a statement he made to change the way the university's Board of Trustees is selected. In the letter, Harpootlian states in part, "When the Senate returns, I look forward to supporting Senate Bill 798 to reform the board." Only one other state institution of higher learning guarantees the governor such power over its board, and it is now apparent why that is a terrible idea for USC. Senate Bill 798 would reduce the size of the board from 17 to 8. Elected members would be from each of the 7 congressional districts rather than 16 judicial circuits. There would be 1 at-large member appointed by the governor, and trustee terms would be 4 years or until a successor is elected and qualified. For more information on the bill and on the university's new president-elect, head to WLTX.com. Time now for a check of the weather. Danielle, we're really feeling the heat again today.
I know, we felt the heat today. We're going to feel it tomorrow as well, but I do have some good news. While our heat index today was above 100, it will be again tomorrow, and we could see an isolated shower or storm. There is some relief in sight midweek, but it will also come in the form of rain. So we'll talk all about that in a bit. But first, today, it was really a gorgeous day. Just some clouds up to our north. The central and southern Midlands, though, were fairly cloud-free, so it was a great sunny day, and there's not much to talk about on radar, as I've said, here across the Midlands. So over the next 12 hours, we will be dropping around 83 degrees at 11 o'clock. If you're going out tonight, it'll still be fairly warm, and then dropping into the mid-70s by the time you're waking up in the morning with sunshine. So I'll have all the details on your 7-day forecast and the cool down coming up in a bit. Alicia?
All right, Danielle, thank you very much. A motorcyclist is dead after running into the back of another motorcycle that hit a deer. 64-year-old Jackie Hopkins died this morning from his injuries in the crash. Kershaw County officials tell us 2 motorcycles were traveling east on Flat Rock Road toward Camden when one hit a deer and caused the other to crash into the back of the bike. Both riders were thrown from their bikes. Investigators say Hopkins was not wearing his helmet. No word on the condition of the other motorcyclists. Richland County deputies are investigating after a man was shot while getting out of his car early this morning. Deputies say it happened in the 400 block of Rock Haven Drive in Columbia. Reports say the victim was getting out of his car when he says he heard a loud pop and then realized he'd been shot. He went to a nearby home for help and was later taken to the hospital. If you have any information on those responsible in this case, call Crime Stoppers, 1-888-CRIME-SC. Richland County deputies are searching for 2 men who they say robbed and then fired shots at a couple in a Rush's parking lot. This all happened late last night at the location off Broad River Road. The couple told investigators they were communicating with the suspects on the Let Go app. That's an app that allows people to buy and sell used items. When the group met at Rush's, investigators say the meeting quickly took a turn when the 2 suspects robbed the couple and then shot and injured the man. Deputies say the suspects took off in a silver Ford Taurus with paper tags. Call Crime Stoppers if you have any information. A man is recovering tonight after deputies say he was shot at a club while sitting in his car. The Richland County Sheriff's Department says it happened early this morning around 3 a.m. at Club Leroy's on Carrie Anderson Road. They say the victim was shot in his upper body and then taken to a local hospital. This investigation is ongoing. You're asked to call Crime Stoppers if you have any information. "50 years ago today, Apollo 11 astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin were the first humans to land and walk on the moon. News 19's Jacob Reynolds went to the State Museum to speak with people who remember watching history unfold.
Half a century after mankind took its first steps on the moon, the Apollo 11 mission still inspires and awes the people who remember it. It was a technological and unprecedented marvel. As millions of Americans tuned in, mankind walked on the moon, a mission inspired by President John F. Kennedy.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
50 years later, as the State Museum hosts a special exhibit on Apollo 11, museum employees like Tom Falvey are still captivated by what they watched half a century earlier.
I believe I remember my parents bringing me downstairs to our little TV in the corner to watch those first steps.
Falvey was 7 as he watched men walk on the moon and says it inspired the imagination.
I have this memory of that. I know that I wanted to be an astronaut. I remember jumping around my house like I was walking on the moon, like in 1/6 gravity. So, you know, every kid wants to be a fireman or a baseball player or something. I wanted to be those things as well as an astronaut.
As Falvey and America huddled around their televisions and radios, Richard Bohr took a different approach with his 2 daughters.
This was in Louisville, Kentucky, and I set up my telescope in the backyard and had my 2 daughters out there, and we were watching the moon as the TV was announcing the landing. And I think it was more of a joke than anything, but we spotted a silver thing sliding onto the moon as the television announced the landing.
And for another museum visitor, looking back at his childhood memory, he says he knew it was important because even the adults were excited.
I remember my dad was very excited, and he wanted to make sure that when it was time to watch, which I believe it was at night, things I can't remember for sure, but he made sure that I was out there and ready to go. And I remember I had my little model of what I felt like was a spaceship. And we were actually watching the TV, and I knew who Walter Cronkite was, who was a famous newsman, probably one of the most famous newsmen ever as time went by. And I just remember realizing how important this must be, because not only was my dad excited about it, but this guy on the news who we saw all the time was very excited and emotional. I just felt that he was very emotional about it, like this was some type of, and I remember thinking that, hey, this is something really important going on.
50 years later, Dabney says he hopes humanity returns to the moon and uses it to create new advancements and explore even further. In Columbia, Jacob Reynolds, News 19 WLTX.
The South Carolina State Museum's Space Week begins today and continues through the 28th. Admission is free for children 12 and under. Coming up on News 19 at 6, a heat wave is gripping nearly half the nation from the Midwest to the East Coast. Danielle has a closer look and your Midlands forecast next. Good evening and thank you for joining us for News 19 at 11. I'm Alicia Nieves. In Colombia, one person is dead after a shooting at an apartment complex. The coroner says 24-year-old Santurnino Williams died and 2 others were shot. This happened just before 10 last night at the Colony Apartments on Bailey Street. Investigators believe the people responsible for the shooting were acting in self-defense, and the injured are actually the suspects. Witnesses told police the suspects were damaging vehicles at the complex, which led to arguments with some people. Police say the suspects pulled a gun on several people who then shot in self-defense. No charges are expected to be filed. In Horry County, police need your help to find who's responsible for a deadly shooting at a Myrtle Beach bingo hall. Police say the shooting happened last night about 9:30 at Waccamaw Bingo. That's off Highway 501. Detectives determined it started as an attempted armed robbery and then turned into a shooting. The department posted surveillance photos, of the suspect on its Facebook page, hoping someone can help identify the person. A fire at a home in Fairfield County left 7 people, including a child, without a home. It happened yesterday at a house on Highway 34, just outside Ridgeway. The Fairfield County Fire Service says the fire started in the home's dryer. Fire officials offered tips to help prevent dryer fires. You can find that information at WLTX.com. Orangeburg County Sheriff's deputies need your help finding a man who's been missing since Wednesday. Investigators are looking for 63-year-old Willie Lee Pinckney. He was last seen in the 400 block of Eastwood Circle. Investigators say Pinckney has several medical issues and it's important to find him soon. You can call Crime Stoppers with any information. A reward is up for grabs if you help find the people responsible for killing 2 men during an attempted armed robbery. Police responded to a call of shots fired Thursday night in the 300 block of Bowman Drive, this is in Sumter, and found 2 men dead. 25-year-old Diego Telator and 46-year-old Gregorio Chun were killed. Sumter police say a reward of up to $5,000 is available for any information leading to an arrest. A Cherokee County deputy was arrested by Highway Patrol for driving under the influence. 29-year-old Darley Crossley immediately submitted his resignation to the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Steve Muller says its staff is reminded on a regular basis they must follow the laws, and the former officer exercised poor judgment when he chose to drive. A new decision by one city council means a police officer's monument will stand. The TKK City Council decided to keep the police officer's prayer monument. It will be located at the new police station. Yesterday, officials said the decision was made after careful consideration and much conversation. The word Lord in the monument's poem upset some members of the community. Well, Danielle, we've been enjoying some wonderful weather across the Midlands, but it's only going to heat up, isn't it?
It is, but let's enjoy it while we can. It's another cool night out there. Temperatures already dropping into the lower 70s, so we're getting down into the 60s tonight. And the past couple of days we've been below average. The past 4 days, actually. Today we clocked in at 90 degrees. Our average for this time of year is 93, and we'll probably stay below average tomorrow before we heat things back up for the rest of the week. So we're going to be seasonably hot to finish off our weekend and sunny and dry to start our work week, and then we are going to heat things up. We're going to increase that humidity. We're also going to increase the storm chance. I'll have all the details coming up with your 7-day forecast. Alicia?
Danielle, thank you. Tomorrow, a celebration for the South Carolina Puerto Rican community. From 4 to 7 at La Isla Bonita restaurant off Percival Road, hundreds are expected to gather to celebrate the resignation of Puerto Rico's governor. For 12 days, hundreds of thousands marched the streets of San Juan, pushing for Governor Ricardo Rosselló to resign. When the announcement came, it marked the first time in history a governor of the island stepped down.
We showed everyone outside that little island that we can make things change, and we will make a difference.
Members of the Puerto Rican community say the final straw was the government's treatment of its people after Hurricane Maria. Many say resources never made it to the people in need. Earlier this month, hundreds of pages of a group chat involving Governor Rosselló leaked, including profanity, homophobic and sexist comments about political opponents and celebrities. He also mocked some hurricane victims. Rosselló's resignation takes effect August 2nd. A crash along I-77 in Blythewood killed 2 people and injured at least 4 others. It happened yesterday morning when 2 cars collided near exit 27. Troopers say one of the drivers got out of their car and was hit by another vehicle, and then that driver got out and was hit by another car. The coroner says Tyrone Cornelius Fogel from Colombia and 63-year-old Manuel Ito from Georgia died. Tonight, the family of Tyrone Fogel spoke to News 19 about his life and legacy.
And when I got home, my family confirmed what I heard, and I just broke down and cried because I talked to my brother at least maybe 3 or 4 times a week. So I don't know, it's going to be a long journey for me, but I'm here and he's gone.
Veronica Fogel remembers the
I'm going to get through it. I have to be strong for my mom and the rest of my sisters and brothers.
Tyrone Fogel made his mark in Ellery, attending Ellery Elementary School and Lake Marion High. Later in life, he would become a minister and dedicate his time to helping others through public speaking, writing, and his mentorship business, Fresh Start. Kelton Richburg was a co-worker.
His message that he wanted to give to the people is just dream big and never give up on your dreams. Just anything is possible. Just if you just continue to pray, continue to believe, and don't be afraid to take risks.
He was smart. He was talented. He loved basketball. He was a coach.
His passion for people, the love for Christ, and just wanting to give back to the community. That was his main thing.
You know, God has better plans for him. And I just hope to see him one day when it's my turn.
Reporting in Orangeburg County, I'm Kaylin Hagwood.
All right, Kaylin, thank you very much. Well, it may seem like the holiday shopping season is months away, but toy makers, distributors, and social media influencers are picking favorites now. As Diane King Hall tells us, a popular toy show in New York City is a preview of what's about to hit store shelves.
Oh, yes. A parent's worst nightmare. Pop Pop Snots is expected to be a hit this year, but if you're not into splattering slime, the Sweet Sweet toy event in New York City offered plenty of alternatives. We found Baby Shark, Juno dolls, a new high-tech Pictionary, and the PJ Masks. Yeah. There's also a growing number of toys straight from YouTube influencers themselves, like Ryan Toys Review. The second grader has over 20 million subscribers who've been watching him unbox and play with toys for years.
Kids are really plugged into YouTube. That's where they're getting their content, and so that's where we want to make sure you can see all these amazing toys as well.
Another YouTuber, the Tic Tac Toy family, is launching toys for the first time this year. The family produces skits for nearly 3 million subscribers.
Whoa! These are XOXO. Okay. We have 24 baby animals that you can collect.
Not all influencers have products to peddle. 11-year-old Linda Lee Rose has been coming to events like this since she was 4, reviewing toys for her YouTube channel.
Do your classmates know that you're on YouTube, and how do they react to that?
Yes, they all know, and they're always like, oh, are you famous? Oh, are you famous? And I'm like, kinda, I don't know.
Then the junior reporter had a few questions of her own.
Have you had any of the food here yet?
I haven't, I want to.
It's very.
Oh. The brands hope this interactive toy preview will influence the influencers and help drive holiday sales. Diane King Hall, CBS News, New York.
It's Christmas in July in Elgin tonight. Elgin Lights is on full display this weekend. In addition to sparkling Christmas lights, you can enjoy the music of Frayed Not, visit 7 different museums, play games, and even meet Summer Santa. The event started as a way to raise money to build Camp Cole, a place where kids fighting cancer can go just to be kids. Organizers say it's all for a good cause.
We feel so blessed and so excited to come together and really work on this goal together as a community to build something that the entire state and specifically the Midlands can be proud of. We want the Midlands and Camp Cole to be something for everyone to feel proud and feel a part of.
There's one more night of Elgin Nights Christmas in July. That's tomorrow from 6 till 9. It's $10 per car or $20 for vans and buses. Well, there's a slow change headed our way with this week's weather. Meteorologist Danielle Miller will explain. More News 19 after the break.